Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about anxiety and how if you use anxiety correctly, it can actually propel you to greatness. Let's dive in. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how you can actually use anxiety as a way to propel you to greatness. Now, when you look at anxiety, anxiety is an emotional response to a perceived threat or challenge most of the time. And so being anxious about something is being anxious about an imagined future. This is really important, okay? A lot of times we're anxious because we think that there's something in the future that we fear, like, oh my gosh, if I build this business, then what happens if I fail? And that can be true, but anxiety is an emotional response to a perceived threat, which means it's imagined, it doesn't actually exist. And so when you look at life is extremely unknown and uncertain. There's trillions of uncertainties that are going to come up over the course of our life. And humans don't really like that because uncertainty is seen as a threat to the human brain, because the human brain wants to plan and figure out every way to get around any type of threat, because your brain is designed to keep you alive. And so there's actually a philosopher from the 1800s named Kierkegaard, and he actually says that anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. And what he means is that there's so many uncertainties, so many unknowns, that it can actually really kind of set us off. And we want stability, we want security, but there are so many unknowns. There's unknown and uncertainty as a whole, and there's an infinite amount of unknowns across your entire life. And so if we're being real, as humans, we really have very little knowledge of what the hell we're doing here in life, right? So it's like the people who raised us and the people who are running society don't really have any idea of what we're doing here either. They're just kind of doing what they feel like they're supposed to be done and keeping economies running and businesses running and all of that stuff. And when you really start to look at it and you come back to like the person as a whole, we all have a lot of unknowns, and we're trying to fit into boxes that were created by other people. And anxiety is, I'm going to take a different flavor of anxiety today and start to talk to you about it, but your anxiety can be transformed when you start to discover your passions. Really interesting thing, because think about this for a second. If I'm living a life that I don't want to be living, once again, if we go back to what I said at the very beginning, the very first thing I said is anxiety is the emotional response to a perceived threat or challenge, and we're anxious about something that we're imagining in the future. A lot of people, I think, are anxious about the future that they're going to be stepping into if they continue on the exact same path. So a lot of people are anxious and have anxiety around the future because they're going, I don't even know if I like my present moment. I don't want to be at this job in 10 years, but I don't know what to do if I don't have this job. And so when was the last time you checked in with yourself in silence, and not just like one meditation session, but like saying to yourself, like, I want to know what I want to do with my life. I want to know what my passions are. I want to know what feels right for me, and do it over and over and over and over and over again. It's like you might get one little piece of the puzzle. Imagine that your passion is like 1,000-piece puzzle, and your intuition is going to give you one piece for every single time that you just sit silently and be with yourself. And you get one little piece. It's not like the entire puzzle is going to be done immediately, which is what everybody wants in this world. I want to be done now, right? You're like that annoying little girl that's in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? You're like, I want it now, right? That's not how the world works. That's not how your intuition works. It's like, imagine that every time you just sit quietly with yourself, you're just given like another puzzle piece and another puzzle piece. And every time you journal and sit down and say, what do I want? What do I want to create in my life? What are my passions? What do I want? What makes me curious? What seems fun to learn about? And we just write these down. It's like the universe just gives us another puzzle piece, another puzzle piece. You will start to discover what feels right. And it might be out of alignment with what everybody thinks that you should do. And that's where really people start to struggle, because they're like, well, I want love and acceptance from my mom and from everyone else around me. I'm not saying that you should just disappear and not hang out with them anymore. But what I'm saying is only you know what feels right. And if someone doesn't accept you for what feels right for you, for your full alignment, your true purpose of what you feel is your true purpose in life, and they don't accept you, are they really there for you? You know, a lot of times our anxiety comes from trying to fit into someone else's box, right? It's your body telling you this is not right for you. Do something else. You're trying to conform and your body's saying, no, do something else. Do something else. And so when the anxiety starts to get a little bit more and a little bit more, it's like it's screaming at you. It's like your body being like, for the love of God, change something because you can't do this forever. And so really what it comes down to is like, what if the anxiety that you're feeling is your body saying, wake the hell up. Do something different. This is not what we want to do. Your mind, your heart, your soul, your brain, this is not what we want to do. We want to do something different. Then you go, well, my God, what the hell do we want to do? Well, that's where you have to start going on the path of self-discovery. What are you curious about? What do you want to learn more about? What lights you on fire? What feels really good? What is your ikigai, right? I have an episode on ikigai, I-K-I-G-A-I, of like the 4 places where they intersect to find out your purpose. Ikigai is Japanese for your reason for being. What is your reason for being? And at this moment, I understand most people listening right now don't know. That's fine. But now that you know that you don't know, but you know that it's out there, now you can start to try to discover it. There are very few things in this world that are more important than discovering your reason, your passions, your purpose, the things that light you up the most. And if you start to follow those things, what you'll notice is your anxiety will become less and less and less and less and less. And that is the way that your anxiety can help make a change and actually help you lead yourself to greatness. So that's what I got for you for today's episode. If you love this episode, please do me a massive favor. Share it on your Instagram stories. Tag me in at Rob Dial Jr., ROBDIALJR. The only way this podcast grows is from you guys sharing it. And I wish every person in the world would listen to this podcast. I wish we could get the message out there. And the only way we can actually get the message out there to more people is if you guys help us. So if you would do that, take out your phone, just share it real quick. I would greatly appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to leave the same way I leave you every single episode. Make it your mission to make someone else's day better. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have an amazing day.